Boker Tov, everybody. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Good morning, Yerushalayim. Over the past couple of days, we've begun Shara B'tachon Perek Gimel, the third chapter. And now, if you have your text open in front of you, then you can open up to the paragraph which begins with the word V'tirdat. Up until now, we've been learning 7 major reasons why a person should be able to place their entire bitachon exclusively on Hashem. V'tirdat hanefesh. What do we see over here? That the reason why someone is totally overburdened, lahakdim masha'echara borei taleh ula'acher masha'ikdim, a person that might want to delay that which Hashem decided in His infinite knowledge to make it happen earlier, and vice versa, to bring earlier what Hashem had decided should be later. Ulaharbot mashihimit ulahamit mashihirba mikinyanei haolam mibli sabev el kiyum mitzvot. Mibli sabev el kiyum mitzvot avodato v'kibul torato. Only for the purpose of observing the mitzvot and for learning of Torah. Chalishut ha'akara ba'amitat idiyato. It comes from the lack of appreciation that Hashem knows everything what's going to be. V'sichlut mehavin tovot ha'ganato, and the stupidity of someone of trying to understand the great way how Hashem runs the world. So if we would have more bitachon, then we wouldn't try to hasten that which is supposed to take long, and we wouldn't try to slow down that which is supposed to happen later. Ukvar Ramaz Chacham Shlomo HaMelech, the wisest of all men, has already hinted, B'ma Amaro, in his saying, Lakol zman ve'et l'chol chefetz tachat hashamayim. Everything has its own time under the heavens. Ve'achar kach zachar mehem, Shmona ve'asur minyanim. And he enumerated 28 subjects. V'hu masha amar, eit laledet ve'et lamut, adam ro, eit mochama ve'et shalom. The different types of things that Hashem does in the world. And each thing has its own time. V'amar, ki eit ufega yikret kulam, v'amar ki gavoa me'al gavoa shomer ugvohem aleim. There are many levels of different angels and different levels of galaxies that Hashem has created. But at the end of the day, it's a Kadosh Baruch Hu who decides. He knows everything that's going to be, and He decides what should happen at what time. The way Hashem decides His world is very, very deep. There's no way that we can understand all of it, nor part of it. Kol sheken klalam, how much more so the entire amount of what Hashem hasn't planned for us. As it says in the Pasuk, and we said it yesterday in the Haftorah, and we talked about it between Mincha and Mariv, Ki gavhu shamayim me'aretz. Just like the heavens are much higher than the earth, Kein gavhu drachai midarchechem umachshavotai mimachshavotechem. So too, my ways are higher than your ways, Hashem says, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. I would like to clarify something over here, which is very important. We talk about over here how important it is that a person should rely everything that happens in the world on Hashem. Hashem knows what is supposed to happen and when it's supposed to happen. Seemingly, how does this coincide with the whole concept of tefillah, of prayer. The idea of prayer, of tefillah, is we ask Hashem that Hashem should do good for us. In fact, the biblical mitzvah of prayer, of tefillah, is much greater than what we do. It's good that we daven 3 times a day and so on and so forth. But the biblical mitzvah of tefillah is that any time we have an issue, we stop right there and we turn to Hashem. And you say, Hashem, please help me in any language and in any text. From the bottom of your heart, you turn to Hashem. And often, a person will turn to Hashem and ask for something which we don't know when Hashem's Yeshua is supposed to come, but assuming if it's supposed to be later or earlier, obviously if it's later, then we ask Hashem that it should be earlier. How does this coincide? By saying, okay, everything Hashem does is good for us. And the explanation, I believe, is as follows. There are 2 types relate to our day-to-day lives. There are basic things, and then there are choices between good and bad. Basic things are like, what should we eat? What shirt we should put, what color shirt we should put on. These are basic things which are usually not the difference between good and bad. Then you have choices in the world which discuss, should I go to a Torah class? Or God forbid to, I don't want to give another example. Or, I mean, the examples I don't need to bring over here, I think we all understand. Good and bad. In these things, a person has an ability to change. In other words, to choose from. What I'm trying to say is as follows. The same God, the same Hashem, that tells us that we have to have bitachon exclusively in Him, it's the same Hashem that says you need to daven and pray to Him to be able to bring a Yeshuah and to change the situation. So therefore, tefillah is not at all a contradiction to being able to place our entire bitachon, our entire trust in Hashem. Let's give you another example. Let's say a person is in traffic and they have a meeting at 4:00 and it's 5 to 4 and they still have 20 minutes to get there. And so, of course, in Israel, when a guy goes to buy a car, what's the first thing in the car that he tries to see if it works? You got it, the horn. And so when you go in the street, non-stop honking, people, like, what are you honking about? If you're in the right line, Hashem wants you to be there 15 minutes late, it's not going to help if you hold the horn down for 3 minutes straight and drive everybody crazy. I guarantee you it's not going to help. So in other words, if we have bitachon in Hashem, and the more we learn the chovat halavavot, we'll hopefully be able to internalize this concept more and more. But when we have bitachon in Hashem, we have extreme trust that Bezrat Hashem, things will go exactly the way Hashem wanted them to go. So if for whatever reason you were lazying around and you left late, that's also part of Hashem's plan. It's up to you to do things in advance or not. But at the end of the day, if you're in a certain situation, that is the exact scenario that Hashem wants you to be in right now at this moment. And if there's a huge traffic, en ma la'asot, that's just the way it is. So it's better to take it with a smile and calmly, because as we learned in great detail today and in the earlier days, last couple of days, that it's Hashem that knows everything it's going to be. And if someone thinks they're going to have the meeting at 4:00 when they're in a long, it's going to take 7 minutes just to get by this till the light, then we have to place our trust in Hashem that He wants the meeting to start at another time than it was originally planned for. On the other hand, the concept of tefillah, the idea of davening, when we daven, Hashem Himself says, we just said in the Shema, Ula'avdo b'chol vavchem. It's a positive mitzvah to daven. Eizohi avodah shebalev. What does it mean, avodah shebalev? Usually, avodah means work with your hands. Excuse me, to create something, to move something. That's avodah. Ula'avdo b'chol vavchem. Excuse me. What does it mean to serve, to work with your heart? The Gemara says, Eizohi avodah shebalev. Zu tefillah, this refers to davening. So that's called serving Hashem, when a person places their trust in Hashem. On the contrary, we're saying that by turning to Hashem, what are you doing? That's part of the bitachon. You trust in Hashem that He's going to give you a Yeshua. We're not talking about moving a chess game around, moving the pieces for the technical things that happen in our lives. That is 110% Hashem's planning. But then, if something else, aside for the quote-unquote natural way of doing things, something else comes into place, trust that it's Hashem. If it's the idea of things that a person wants to change, not as far as regular things, but let's say, as you said before, if someone needs a Yeshua in a certain area, then that is the bitachon b'Hashem. That is putting one's trust in Hashem. Let's move on. The Hakdama Hashenit. Now we're moving on to the second Hakdama. It's amazing how within every chapter he has sometimes a couple of introductions. Sheyida v'yitbarer etzlo, that it should be clear to a human being, ki haborei yitbarach mashkif alav, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks upon him. This is very similar to chapter 41 in the Tanya. It says that a person should try to say it every day. If you can learn it by heart, it's even better. And over there, within the first 20 lines approximately of the chapter of Perek Mem Aleph of the Tanya, there's a two-liner. It starts with V'hinei Hashem nitzav alav. And this is one of the psukim that the Rebbe instituted, that it should be said that children should say every day and also whenever there's a gathering. And this is how it goes. V'hinei Hashem nitzav alav. And behold, Hashem stands upon him. We have to picture this to ourselves every moment, not just for children, but it's great for children to get into it and to be educated in this way and to grow up in this way. And Hashem's honor fills the world. Umabit alav, Hashem looks upon a person, the individual. Uvochen klayot valev, and analyzes the kishkis, the heart, what's going on inside. If the person serves Hashem as it's supposed to be. So this is what the Chovat HaLevavot says over here. It has to be clear to a person that Hashem looks over. There is nothing which is hidden from him. Niglehu v'nistaro, everything is revealed. That which is revealed, that which is hidden. To Hashem, everything is revealed. Utzfuno, and everything which is deep down inside the person. V'nir'ehu, that which is revealed. V'im bitchono be'elokav b'lev shalem. And if the person's bitachon in Hashem will be with a complete heart, or not. Like it says in the pasuk, Hashem yodea machshavot adam ki hem havel. Hashem knows our thoughts, for they are emptiness. The Amar, and he brings a few more psukim later on. When this will become clear to a person that trusts in Hashem, ein ra'ui lo lit'on shu boteach belokim yitale b'diburo. It is not appropriate that he should be considered someone that trusts in Hashem. He might speak, he said, I trust in Hashem, I trust in Hashem. But if it's not clear to him that Hashem looks onto every single iota, knows exactly what's happening deep inside us, then he's not really called a Boteach Hashem. Maybe he's striving to do that, but he's not yet a real Boteach Hashem. Mibli sheyivtach alav belibo uvematzpuno. Without the person putting his total trust in him, in his heart and in his conscience. This guy that claims that he trusts in Hashem, it will be like it says in another pasuk in Yeshaya. With his mouth and his lips, he's honoring me. He's talking a lot about me, Hashem says. However, his heart is yet far from me, Hashem says. Let's learn one more paragraph. The Akdama Shlishit, and the third Akdama that the Chovat HaLevavot writes in the third chapter, that he should trust only in Hashem, in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, in the subjects which he has to trust. He should not share this with others. He should not place his trust in others as well. Not only also in Hashem, but only in Hashem a person should put their trust. And if a person puts their trust also in another, then he's basically saying that he doesn't trust Hashem. Because you have to place your entire trust in Hashem. And it is known what it says about Asa, the king of Yehuda. Im chasiduto, even though he was a pious person, be'et machlato samach al rofim, and when he was sick, he relied on the doctors. U'kamosh katuv uvechol yo lo darashta Hashem kim barofim. When he was sick, he did not seek Hashem, only the doctors. Then he was punished for this. I have to share with you something beautiful, very moving, that I heard myself from Rabbi Shalom Ber Lipsker, the amazing shliach of Bal Harbor, Florida. So a couple of years ago, he had an open heart surgery in New York, and he told us that the doctor was a Gentile, and it was important for him to ask the doctor if he believes in God, if he believes in Hashem. It didn't matter to him if the doctor was Jewish or not. It was important that even if it was a Gentile, that the doctor believes in Hashem. In other words, it's not only that a person should say Tehillim and daven to Hashem and plead to Hashem for the Yeshua, but also that the doctor should be a believer in Hashem. I thought that was very, very powerful. And he said, if you trust in God, then I know that you'll be a good catalyst, a good messenger from Hashem. And as it says in the pasuk, Baruch HaGever asher yivtach b'Hashem v'haya Hashem yivtacho. Blessed is the person who trusts in Hashem and he places his trust in Hashem. U'min hayadua ki mi shimaneh. It seems to be that the explanation of the verse is that a person can ask, why does it say twice? Blessed is the person who trusts in Hashem, and he puts in Hashem his trust. You just said a second ago that blessed the person that he trusts in Hashem. So it seems to be that what the Chovat HaLevavot is interpreting, that not only he trusts also in Hashem, it should be he trusts only in Hashem. When Hayadu, as it's known, Kimishi Manem Ibnei Adam Shnei Mimunim, or Yoter Lasot Davar, if you appoint two people to do something, or more to do something specific, Miyunoi Mufsad, it's for sure going to be, it's for sure not going to be successful. Kol Sheken, how much more so? Misha Batach Ala Elokim V'Zulato, someone who trusts in Hashem and in someone else, she sater b'tchono, that his trust will be nullified. It would be a good reason, God forbid, that Hashem should withhold from him without in this point that he trusts in Hashem. Kamosh Nemar, it says in the pasuk, Arura gever shiftach ba'adam v'sam basar zer'o min Hashem yasur libo. Cursed is the person who trusts in man, and he puts his hope in a human being of flesh and blood, and he turns away from Hashem. The fact itself that he also trusts in someone else, that means that he does not trust in Hashem. So in other words, what we're saying now is that the bitachon in Hashem has to be exclusively only in Hashem. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you, Bezrat Hashem, very soon. Have a wonderful day.